Hi all, welcome in wherever you are. I'm not in Switzerland, I'm probably in the Caribbean now, and after you watch this video we're gonna have a talk about accessibility in activist spaces, and mostly talk about social accessibility. The physical stuff we can all fix, but the social accessibility is way harder because then people need to change, and changing people is way harder than changing stuff. So yeah, no access, no peace. I'm Wonko, and I prepared some slides, and I'm struggling with the system, but yeah, that will work out in a bit. I'm Wonko, and normally I do this talk and I ask the crowd to introduce themselves and give their pronouns, because you can't see what someone's gender is. I'm agender, I don't know what my gender is. I prefer people calling me using the they them, and probably das in German, I don't know. Yeah, the gender stuff, that the not being visible what your gender is also related to the disability, because people all assume that my main disability is my half-sided hemiplegia, but my main disability is pain. I use the wheelchair because I get pain, and I am chaotic because of the pain. So if you're watching if you're watching this video and there's someone nearby, introduce yourself with your pronouns and ask theirs. And also I want to ask you all to, if you go to a place and you use the same pronouns as people expect from you, also introduce yourself with these, so people who don't use the pronouns that are expected feel like they're not forced to always do this. Yeah, so got this nice slide. The gender bed person, you can find it somewhere online. I'm all kinds of weird stuff on there. I got all the things going on, but that's not important. Yeah, don't assume. That's the thing. So I had the title of the talk was gonna be wheelchair use in activism. This is a very nice example of what you can do when you're in a wheelchair. This is so funny. So this looks horrible, but it only looks horrible. The guy is trying to gently push me back. He warned me like 3-4 times to move back. I just ignored him. And then he tried to push me back, but he failed because he was holding a stick and a shield. And then he pushed me with the shield, and I just leaned into it with my head. And so my glasses are crooked, but it was just a perfect photo and just funny. And it's so weird. We can use this because people are shocked. Oh, they're so violent. And I wasn't hurt at all. And this is because when you're in a wheelchair, people assume you will break immediately if you fall, and that's not right. And so we can use this as long as there's cameras nearby. You can be as obnoxious if you want to be, because they are just not allowed to hit you. And this slide is the most important slide of them all. This is a very simple concept, and a very important concept for me. My social worker introduced me to this concept after I was complaining about how annoying people keep acting when they see me in the wheelchair, because they are saviors and they assume for me that I am a victim and that I need help and that I want their help and that I will be thankful for this, and this is all bullshit. You see in this slide the winning triangle and the drama triangle. The drama triangle is made by Steve Cartman in 1965 or something like that, and in the 90s Joy made the response to that, because the drama triangle gives a very negative view of the world. In the drama triangle there are 3 roles to show the types of in every relationship. If you go to the shop, you have a relationship to the person at the register, but in every situation you fit in one of these roles, and in the drama triangle it becomes a drama and it gets annoying and I get frustrated, and most of the time I end up angry. And this is why I give these talks, because I really don't want people to behave like the saviors of the drama triangle, and in activist spaces people are much more accountable and much less authoritarian. So luckily people in when I tell them, hey, I don't want your help, they're like, okay, and they accept it. So you can see at the in the drama triangle there's the savior, the victim and the aggressor, and the savior decides for everybody what they need and they don't listen to what you want, and the aggressor is the same, decides rather what they just don't listen. That's the clue of it all. And in the winner triangle the helper does listen to what you say. Hey, don't need help, okay. So for me, when I'm in the wheelchair and I'm just struggling slightly longer, people assume I want help, or I need help, or I cannot do it myself, or whatever, and they bother me. So this is also connected to, is very relevant, and afterwards I really want to talk with all of you about this, because this can be different for anybody else, but it seems that when someone avoids eye contact, they don't want to interact. When I'm struggling with something with my wheelchair and I'm avoiding eye contact, and someone intrudes and offers help, I'm annoyed because they break my concentration. And when I'm struggling and I don't see a way to fix it and I want help, I will look around, try to make eye contact. And so if you see someone struggling, just wait. If they make eye contact, say hello. Hey, are you okay? And this is much different from, it's much nicer to hear someone say, hey, are you okay? And you say, yeah. And they can, or you say, no, can you do this for me? And you can become the helper and do whatever, because they know what is needed. You can't know. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff. Oh yeah, this relates to the trauma responses. Yeah, that's the thing. Yep. The trauma responses are very relevant for the drama triangle and the winner triangle. because the victim is kind of like the same as is related to the freeze, flight, and fawn, and the aggressor is related to the fight response. So you see in this image the nice cartoon on the top what you can do. So everybody, probably every mammal has this behavior. It's somewhere in our brain probably. We learn when there's a situation that could be dangerous for you, you first try to ignore it, or the order of how people do stuff is mostly freeze, flight, and then maybe fight or fawn. So yeah, you see the tiger. There's a tiger coming for you. You freeze. You hope it goes away. Doesn't. So you run. You hope. I used the example of when you're in a bar and there's this drunk person who who's just complaining about shit and being drunk and doesn't listen to anybody. You ignore them, they don't go away, you walk away, they don't go, they follow you, and then you can, if you look for them, so fight doesn't mean that doesn't have to mean that you physically get violent. Fight can also mean that you look for the conflict, so you just say to the guy, hey, fuck off, I don't want this shit. But there is also a fourth response. So the fight, flight, freeze, everybody knows, but the fawn got discovered or coined or whatever probably 5 or 10 years ago, and that's the fawn response. Response where you pretend to care, just go along with the crap in hopes of the person going away. So to the situation of the drunk guy who's complaining about losing his bike or whatever, and you say, oh yeah, that's horrible. You just talk along and hope that they go away. These 4 responses, in childhood you learn which response works best, and society also teaches us what is expected of us. So when society sees you as a male, they teach you that you should always fight and be strong and all this crap. Well, if they see you as a female, then you're expected to be quiet and get along with others and be submissive, kinda. No, that's not the right word, but yeah. Yeah, this is very relevant for people with disabilities, and because when one time when I was with my wheelchair, this guy comes up, offers help. I say no. He just keeps standing nearby because, yeah, maybe I changed my mind. Maybe he can still save me. So fucked up. And I go up to him and say, hey, can you please not offer me this because it's really it's hurtful, and can you just go away? And he says, oh yeah, you're just angry because you didn't accept your disability, and other people always thank me. And now that I know about this fawn concept, I'm like, yes, people thank you, because if they are like me and they most of the time I fawn, but sometimes I fight. This was my fight response, feeling like, no, I don't want you to walk away with a nice feeling. You annoyed me, so I'm gonna annoy you, because that's the type of person I am. And most other people see this middle-aged white guy and think, yep, I'm just gonna say thank you, because then he goes away and I will not be bothered by him again. I want you all to take your time and read all this stuff. and I also would like to talk afterwards more about it because it's really interesting, and you see it once you notice, you can see this a lot in society, and just like the drama and winner triangle, these concepts, you see them all the time. I got quite some experience with being in the wheelchair and going to protests. This was my second interaction with the police, and yeah, this was also weird because I was in my wheelchair. I was behind police lines because they just don't know what to do with me. They tell everybody to move. I ignore them. They don't touch me because if they grab my wheelchair, I pretend to panic and they just let me go. I also pretend to be non-communicative, and that confuses them a lot. And yeah, we can use this. So I was behind the lines. I was going back to the main thing, and I hear this plainclothes cop say to me, "Ooh, watch out, don't roll over my leg, over my toes." So I go towards him and say, "Hey, this is really not appropriate behavior for police. This is one of the reasons why people don't like the police." And he just mumbles some stuff and looks away, and so I go and I hear him say something, and I hear the other cops laugh, and then it just went red, and I just charged, which is really useless. I don't know what I wanted to do, but yeah, it went red, so I just oh no, sorry, I charged him. I went towards him, and I stopped in front of him, and I said to his face, "You're a fucking scrotum and a fucking clothessuck." And then they grabbed me and they struggled to throw me on the ground. I'm really proud of how much they struggled to throw me out of the wheelchair. I was lucky I had my leg was tied to the chair because of my spasms. I need to. Next time I should tie myself entirely to the wheelchair just to make it more inconvenient for them. They arrested me for I don't know what. They arrested me. I never heard the charges. They never charged me for anything. I asked for my lawyer. They arrested me. I asked for my lawyer. They didn't. I never saw a lawyer, and 6 hours later they just let me go. Which is really weird. Because like, most of the time they are very sensitive about being insulted, and I just said it to his face with 10 people around it, and I feel like they know that they made a mistake, and yeah, all cops are bastards. I think I got enough reasons for this. But the good thing is, this was happening and there were people around. Someone made a video and it was posted on Facebook. Sadly, they mentioned my real name, so that's not so nice. But in the end, I didn't get in trouble with it. But because there was a video, they used this for as proof that the police was way too violent, and again, I really wasn't hurt while doing this, and it was just weird. So I hope other people with wheelchairs also. Oh yeah, I want other people to go in wheelchairs also when you can walk, because I can walk. It's a myth that people in wheelchairs can't. That you need to be disabled to use a wheelchair. I would really like it if everybody uses wheelchairs just like Americans use bikes, just because it's fun and it's very good training. It's when to normalize using a wheelchair. Because when I'm in a protest in my wheelchair, I always get cameras because everybody thinks it's amazing that I'm there in my wheelchair or something. And if there's more people in wheelchairs, I will not be the only one. And so if you see a fixed frame or a good wheelchair for cheap, buy it and go to wheelchairs. Don't feel like you're appropriating. This is my opinion. So I also want to have your opinion afterwards. I don't feel like it's appropriating. I feel like it's really solidarity to go in the wheelchair. And also because it looks like I'm way more skilled than you because you only use it once in a while. Yeah, so it normalizes wheelchair use. Oh, and I heard from someone that about 75% of people in wheelchairs can walk. And this also, in my experience, I actually don't know anybody who cannot walk at all. I know a couple who missed half of their leg. Most people have pain. There's lots of pain related stuff. But they can walk. So please start using wheelchairs. Start getting photos and make the police. I don't know if it's in your country also. In the Netherlands they try to claim police are the same as fire department and ambulance. Like they're there to help us. So it's really good to make it obvious that they're bastards when they're pushing you out of the wheelchair. Yeah, in society there's a lot of crap for people who have visible disabilities. There's also a lot of crap for invisible disabilities. It's different crap. And also for minorities and just not for the norm. When you're not the norm, you get annoying moments when you're in public. And they got this nice word microaggression for this, which is it's a good description because it's very frustrating when you get these tiny insults that are often well intended, like 10 times a day, and every separate thing isn't big enough to really say something about, and if you say something about it, people are just surprised and confused. But if it happens every day, multiple times a day, at some point you just get you're out of energy and you just burn it all. There's a YouTube video, I'll put the link in the description, called Microaggressions Are Like Mosquito Bites. And it really explains very well how it is for me. So I said sometimes you just don't have the energy for this. This connects to the spoon theory, which is on the left side of this thing. Spoon theory is a nice explanation for normies to quantify energy. So it's a nice story. There was a blog post by someone and it got viral, I think. People really liked it, and so in some communities they just talk about not having the spoons for stuff. I don't really like it because so you can see in these slides if you look at it later on. To me, spoon theory is really to make normal people not feel uncomfortable about having the privilege of having infinite spoons, of having infinite energy. So I stopped using, I don't use spoons. sometimes use it for people who do use them, but mostly I just say energy. Would be nice if they, instead of spoons, they just did computer game nerding. You got mana power. They say out of MP. But yeah, sorry, getting distracted. So, there's the spoon theory, and it's a couple of years old, and there's been additions to it, and this is the part I do really like. So when I try to go with public transport, I always get people who are confused about me not having a helper or whatever, being there on my own. People really ask me, hey, are you here alone? Hey, where are you going? And I'm like, the fuck are you? Leave me alone. And after 10 times of this, I just I don't have the energy anymore to be polite. So at this point I ran out of spoons, and then you can use a knife. So the additions to the spoon theory is forks and knives, where forks are spoons you just get a certain amount per day, and at some point you run out and you hope the next day you get more, but if you sleep shitty or there's some other circumstance, you might not have the same amount of energy as the day before, and yeah, it's just a way to explain. Forks are used for people who can still recover some energy. I often, when I get tired, I take a nap for 10 minutes and I can go, I recover 2 hours or something, so I'm lucky in that sense. But and this is why you need the quiet spaces when you do activist events. Try to have a space where people just can lie down and not be bothered and just be quiet and be on their own. And in marches it would also be nice if there's like in the middle somewhere, just a block where it's quiet, no shouting, just banners. The knife is damaging for yourself and for others. Sometimes I got knives where I only hurt the other when I'm being assertive, but because I already ran out of spoons and I'm already out of energy, I'm also hurting myself. And after 10 people asking if I need help, and someone just grabs my chair, I don't have the patience to say, hey, can you please let me go? I just start screaming at them and they're confused. But yeah, that's what knives do. Yeah, please take your time to read this. And also, oh yeah, related to the spoons is also some other thing. When someone points out you did something wrong, like using the wrong pronoun, or when I say no, don't help me, no, don't offer help, you just say okay. Don't argue, don't whatever, just accept and try to do it different the next time. And please also don't over apologize, because that also takes energy of the person that is already tired and already annoyed by the situation. So it's really, for me, it's best when I point someone out that I don't want anything from them, that they just say okay and walk away. Having a wheelchair makes people assume you cannot do anything, and so my tactic in being as annoying as possible is just sit there, don't and not communicating, not making eye contact, just looking away, and they feel awkward about it and they don't know what I can do. And in this situation, they had to carry me down some stairs. So it took 4 people to carry me down the stairs. And someone had said that I could stand and could talk. So I was talking. I was talking with them and telling them how to do stuff. So I fully cooperate. And they are really happy with me trying to cooperate and stuff, and it's so funny because you can see there's how many? 2, 4, 6 people, or there's also some other just standing around looking. So they arrested me, and they knew I could stand, but so I'm a hemiplegic, I don't know what it's in English. So I'm half-sided paralyzed and spastic paralyzed, so I can stand on my left leg, but I have no control over my ankle, so I have no balance at all. So they put me on my feet, and I pretended I couldn't stand on my right leg, and I just was standing on my left leg, and I started falling backwards. So they wanted to search me, and they had one person holding me up straight, and then the second person searching me. So it already took 2 people to search me, and then there's someone standing there and some other person standing there, and it's just so weird how many people it takes to arrest one person in a wheelchair. I think it's so funny, and every time it's like this. And then when I had to get in the van, they said, "So, can you walk to?" Yeah, I wish I could walk there. You have to push me there. And then I didn't, because I'm also very tall. I didn't manage to get in the van, and the wheelchair doesn't fit in there, so they had to get another van to take me there. So it's another delay, and it's just so annoying to arrest me. So and then when in the prison place, not in prison, in the police station, they are extra nice because they kind of think they are like, I forgot the word, civil servants or something. They're overly nice. It's so weird. But if you got serious medical stuff, it's probably not the best. I got a bit of epilepsy, but I rarely get seizures, so I got medication on me, and then they always refuse to give it to me, and I feel like they feel that they are pressuring me, and I think it's just funny. I just sleep there. So this was the stuff I wanted to tell you. And more important is the conversation with all of you afterwards. So I hope you all stick around and we can have a conversation over video call. I don't know how it's gonna be fixed. I don't know if the organization is gonna do this or that we're gonna do Blue Button or other streaming service. I would like to hear experience from you all, and also how you want to be treated, and if you got questions, how to what you can do, and also for people who don't have the disability, how if there's some questions you have, because in previous talks it felt like it was most rewarding, most functional, the conversation afterwards. So I'm looking forward to speaking with all of you, and yeah, that's it.